wife ugly? Remember that? Remember when Trump called your wife ugly and then you nominated him? You're a disgrace to this country. You disgrace. Remember when those insurrectionists wanted to murder you? Yeah. Yo, go you blow. Ugly piece of shit. Go blow Trump. Get the f*** out of New York. Get out.
Last week, you guys remember we did that story on the New York City's rat infestation. Well, they got a big one hanging out at the game, and New Yorkers are tired of this. These barely pieces of you know what multiple times. He took to the city, tried to ingratiate himself, but that didn't seem to work out. In fact, that wasn't the only video that was taken of this moment. Let's watch more. Of course, by the way, I didn't mention they're playing the Houston Astros, who dismantled the Yankees, of course, in that playoff series. But so the anger was already there from those fans. You probably didn't want to be there. Of course, Ted Cruz representing Texas. Here's a few images of him still waving at his adoring fans in that red shirt you can see in the middle. And many people didn't really respond accordingly. Also, there's a few of the guys that did enjoy the show. They weren't using middle fingers, but they were definitely liking how things were going. Before we go to the second half of his trip and things he had to go through, David, have you done this at baseball games before? I feel like you could be a rowdy fan.
Look, given how frustrated the Yankees fans were, as you pointed out, I mean, Ted Cruz is lucky. I think if he had not been sitting in the lower sort of primetime seats, if he'd been a little farther up, he would have had batteries thrown at him. He would have had beers thrown at him. I mean, somebody might have gone and like tried to, steal whatever his jacket. And you mentioned that the rat infestation. Now that I look at it, Jayar, I mean, Ted Cruz is looking rather rodent-like with the sort of the puffy cheeks and sort of the weird whiskers and the sort of the over large belly. He's looking like the part. So you know what New Yorkers like to do with rats.
Well, we saw it last week. I'm not sure if you saw that story, but the folks who have these rat chasing dogs, specifically, I was also told the specific dogs are bred to chase down rats. I guess that's why they're taking care of the problem. Not that that's gonna happen here. He escaped out of the city, but that not much more before after he went onto The View though. New York is where The View is shot. He went on The View and he had a few questions he had to answer. And I have a different take on the way this went down, but this is the exchange he had on The View when he was talking about his politics.
Frankly, don't know how you get over your wife being called ugly. I don't know how you get over those kind of calumnies against your father. But you obviously have gotten over it. Today you sing a very different tune. So tell us, were you lying then or are you lying now?
Yeah, that's a loaded question there. Look,
I think a lot of people have the same question. It's a very different Ted Cruz that we're seeing. We are. I mean, would you not agree that that's very different Ted Cruz than today's Ted Cruz?
What I would say is this. In 2016, we had a primary where Donald Trump and I beat the living crap out of each other. I'll tell you, Heidi laughed when he said that. My father laughed. By the way, my dad didn't just kill Kennedy. He's got Jimmy Hoffa buried in the backyard. It was idiotic. And we went after each other, and at the end of the day, he won. And I had a decision to make in November of 2016. He'd been elected president. I got a responsibility to represent 30 million Texans. I could have decided my feelings are hurt. I'm going to take the ball and go home and not do my job. But if I was prepared to do that, I better be prepared to resign from my job because I have a responsibility. And why did I choose to work with him even though I was pissed off at what he said? Because I had a job to do and I had a responsibility.
Ted Cruz decided to take some fake righteous anger and come back with the answer to that question. And Navarro was asking, which I think is a very basic question. That's what the guys in New York at the stadium were asking him too. That's what you do when you want to heckle him, which I get if you want to do that. But the thing is now ask him what it is that he was doing behind that. What are his principles? What is his policy based off with Donald Trump? I have thoughts on that, but first, I'm curious what you were thinking about that exchange.
Well, look, I actually think this was a good response by Ted Cruz because, again, to the happy warrior that I was mentioning a few minutes ago, he's laughing. He's not personally insulted by the tough questioning. He's taking it and he's sort of chuckling a little bit and he's staying calm. And that's what a seasoned, slick politician does. I think I would wish that a seasoned journalist like yourself had been there asking the follow-ups instead of Navarro, because then you could have said, okay, well, what did you stand for? What did you do? What did you accomplish? And that's where I think he could have gotten pinned down. But anyway.
Because you always have to go back to policy. This is the weak point of Republicans. And the thing is, it's not even like it's hard to find. They have no policy, they have no principle. They followed Donald Trump to the ends of the earth after calling him a piece of garbage. What is it that you said about Donald Trump when you guys were beating the crap out of each other like you said? He said your wife is ugly. He said your dad committed all these murders. He says that you're not a real man. And then you went and followed him afterwards. Cool, fine, you're a politician. You answered that question, as you pointed out, which I agree, David. He did answer that question well, because that was a ridiculous question. Afterwards, then find out what it is that he's supporting Donald Trump about. So you guys beat the crap out of each other over just name calling? Did you talk about his wife? Is that all you guys fought about, Ted Cruz? Did you guys fight about policy? Did you fight about the direction of the country? Because the things that you disagree with him about, you suddenly jump behind his ass and you followed him down to the ends of the earth. Right now, do you still believe the election was fraudulent? Because you followed him to the ends of the earth on that. You said he's not equipped to be a president of the United States. After he became president of the United States, you followed everything he did. By the way, there's a president in office right now. His name is Joe Biden. Are you following him to the ends of the earth? Because he disagreed with you too. Which policies of Donald Trump you disagreed with do you now agree with? And which policies of Joe Biden's did you not agree with that you now disagree with? Who knows? Because you don't have any principles or policies anywhere across the board. You're a self-serving politician who doesn't give a damn about anybody in this country except for yourself. That's why you showed up to the Yankees game, so people could boo you and you say, look at these disgusting New Yorkers booing me again, forgetting the fact that you insulted New Yorkers during that same beat the crap out of each other primary with Donald Trump when you said they're morally bankrupt people. What did he say? Is this quote we got from sorry ass Ted Cruz when he said New Yorkers, New York values? What real New York values were, is they're talking about 9/11 and everything, and Donald Trump landed a punch on you over that, which by the way, both of you losers don't care about the New Yorkers on 9/11. Both of you in the same boat. That's why you followed him, because you're just like him and you're looking for your turn now to be a piece of garbage to help destroy the country. Ask that question. Jesus, I'm so tired of them letting his ass off the hook.
Well, and what makes it very dangerous, I think, what makes Ted Cruz particularly dangerous, and I think this is the same with Donald Trump, is that Ted Cruz is a very smooth and slick liar. And during that same interview, and I think it was on The View, where he said, he was asked about the stolen documents, right? The documents that Donald Trump took to Mar-a-Lago. And there's Ted Cruz saying, well, every president does it. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. No, they don't. But the fact of the matter is, Ted Cruz knows that he's lying. He can muddy up the waters, and because he's so articulate and because he's sort of laughing as he's doing it, he's able to get away, because it's difficult to land punches on somebody who lies with as much compunction as Ted Cruz and Donald Trump do all the time.
I'll reserve the right to apologize to Anna Navarro later if she asked all those questions. I didn't see the whole interview. So we'll see. Maybe someone can educate me. I apologize if I was wrong on that whole thing.